Yeah, he gets injections every month, and
Who does his injections?
we live in Bradenton. It's
Okay.
Dr. Bullard.
Okay.
But they bled out and scarred over both eyes,
Oh,
so
my.
he's legally blind now. But they did recommend that he have this done. You know, he had it done on his right eye several years ago, back in 2019.
Okay.
But they said this will help a little bit. You know, don't get your hopes up.
It'll get light going on the
But-
retina again a little.
Yeah.
Yes. So he started with a small side port incision right down here,
Okay.
and then he instilled extra numbing medication. So now it's numb here and in here.
Oh, good. Okay.
And this is the main incision. So he's holding his
oh
eyes
my
steady.
goodness. Okay.
That's the larger of the two, but it's still maybe a quarter of a millimeter. It's very tiny. So the two incisions gives him access with instruments to get to the lens.
Oh.
So this instrument is called the cystotome. He's going through the larger incision. He's now behind the cornea, but in front of the lens, so that's called the anterior chamber. And this instrument does two things. First, it instills gel in here to inflate and cushion that area. So you can see a little gel seeping out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he uses the point or the tip of it to peel back the clear membrane, making a circular opening front and center. And that's going to get him inside to remove the cataract. And like I said, the cataract is taken out from the center first and then out. So he's making the opening. It's kind of hard to see. Our camera is good, but his microscope is so much more
Yeah, no, this is
dimensional
good,
than our
though.
view.
Yeah.
Let's see, he's still peeling back that membrane to finish off
Okay.
the opening. So now he's going to instill a fluid called hydrodissecting fluid, and that's going to go up under that membrane. So where the opening is, he instills it, and it goes under the membrane, travels around the nucleus, the thick part in the middle, loosening it from the softer part. So it's kind of separating the hard part from the softer, thinner part.
Okay.
He put a little more gel in there, and that's going to make room for the instrument that's going to emulsify the nucleus and vacuum it out. It's called the phaco handpiece. And the phaco, it's been around for probably close to 40 years. It really changed cataract surgeries.
Wow.
From the old days when they used to have to take the whole thing out. They waited for it to become hard as a rock.
Oh.
You know, if your natural lens looks like this, you don't see.
Right.
So they don't need to do that now. They want it to get like this. So this instrument's called the phaco. That's PHACO, in case you ever Google search
Mm-hmm.
it. It does four things. Its hollow tip right now is vibrating and emitting ultrasonic waves. Those two actions he uses to divide the nucleus in half. So you can see a line forming. While he's doing that, there's holes in the tip, on the sides of the tip, that release saline the whole time it's inside there. So the saline will soften the fragments as they're becoming smaller. So once he gets this little pathway down, he's going to bring in another instrument on the right called the rotator. So that allows him to divide and then rotate those pieces around in that capsule. So he approaches at different angles and continues breaking it up and softening it till it becomes nice and mushy. So then once the fragments are soft and small,
look at that. Yep.
you can see him maneuvering them around. And then he starts to vacuum. Once they're soft enough and small enough, they go right in that tip. And you can see the discoloration of it as he's vacuuming it. And then that retina is coming into play in the back. You'll see that red retina showing. So this also allows his retina doctor to see his macula a lot better too, because that's in front of all that.
Yeah.
So it blocks light. That's
Yeah, I know he definitely recommended that he have it done, and
That's what the retina doctor I see downstairs, he said, you need to get the cataracts removed so I can see your retinas. And that was 4 years ago.
wow, yeah.
5 years ago. Time flies. So anyway, now he's removing that soft and thin part of the cataract. So this instrument doesn't do all the stuff the other one did. It doesn't have that open tip. It just irrigates saline and then flushes it back into the tip to vacuum it.
Okay.
So once the cortex is gone, now it looks like it did. The membrane's clear.
Okay.
And light hits that nice red retina you see in the back.
Okay, so
So at this point, he has no lens in there, just the membrane.
Just the membrane.
So the
for
new lens
cataract.
goes in next. Yeah.
Okay.
So the new lens is prescribed for that eye, so hopefully that'll give him some vision. And he's putting a little more gel to inflate one last time. That makes room for the cartridge that holds the lens. And it's folded in there just long enough to get it through that tiny incision, therefore no sutures anymore.
Okay.
Since when they came out with the ability to fold it and put it in that way, then it meant smaller incisions, so you don't need sutures anymore.
Oh wow.
So it's
that's
all
nice.
part of the healing process.
Yeah.
So the lens unfolds, and once it does, all lenses have two little arms attached called haptics that
Okay.
fan out, flexing against the inside walls of that membrane. So he's vacuuming all the gel, he'll move that lens around where he wants it, and then he'll pressurize to seal it. So those little arms hold it in place, and he's going to center it behind that opening in the membrane that he made at the beginning. So now pressurizing, that is simply putting saline behind the cornea here, and as it fills, it makes it snug where it meets. I compare it, even though it's a little different, but it's like putting air in a tire. You don't need the
Okay.
plug because it creates a pressure seal.
Right.
So he'll pressurize 2 or 3 times. You'll see him tap on the eye to check the seal, making sure it's not dripping out. Over time, your body absorbs the saline, so it's not an issue. Oh, he must see something we don't, so he's going to go back in and vacuum something there.
Oh boy.
So maybe there's a tiny little fragment. So he is very picky,
Uh-huh.
which is good.
Uh-huh.
And pressurizes again. So just to show you size, the largest thing on that screen is the lens. Here's a sample of a very old lens, but it still shows you size. That little dot.
Oh wow. Oh, it's tiny.
So all those
Okay.
instruments are smaller than that because that's the largest thing
Right.
up there.
Oh.
So it's very
wow.
small. It's probably even smaller than on a pencil eraser. You know how tiny that
Yeah.
is. So that's how. So little sponges he blots with at the end look like that. And once he's done, he'll turn around and give you a thumbs up. You can get a video of him. He likes to do that too.
Oh, okay. Good. Okay.
So there's little sponges again, just to blot. But he did fine. Everything went just like we expect.
Good.
So he'll be dilated throughout the day. Tomorrow he'll do. You can get him another thumbs up.
Yay! Thumbs up.
Alrighty. All right. So he's done. They're going to wheel him